Mission to transform, train, and empower the youth of Kenya. This parade marks yet another milestone in our journey towards realizing our vision of being a center of excellence. This ceremony will be live on KBC Channel 1 from 10 a.m. NYS, huduma kwa taifa.
From deadly landslides in Baringa to a second case of monkeypox. Good evening, this is Easy Friday on the 23rd of August 2024. First things first, we'll be taking a look at those stories that have been making headlines in the last 12 hours. I'm Regina, Manyara. Good evening, this is Easy Friday and I'm Regina Manyara. My colleague in sign language is none other than Lady Anne Wangeshi. Now, Kenya has confirmed a second lab case of Mpox. According to the Ministry of Health, the patient is a male adult who entered the country through the Malaba one-stop border post in Busia County. Health Cabinet Secretary Dr. Deborah Barasa has assured the public that the patient has been isolated in one of the government's health facilities in Busia County. She called for more adherence to health guidelines to prevent further spread of the viral disease.
This is the second confirmed case of Mpox in Kenya since the declaration of the first case on the 31st of July 2024. The positive case is that of an adult male truck driver who presented himself to the Port Health screening desk at the Malaba one-stop border, Busia County. The patient reported silent symptoms of the disease and a history of travel to the epicenter of the outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Health Cabinet Secretary Dr. Deborah Barasa says the patient is being held in isolation in one of the government facilities in Busia County. According to the Ministry of Health, 28 contacts of the first case, who was later discharged after treatment, have completed a 21-day follow-up period without developing symptoms and have been discharged from active follow-up. Out of the 42 samples submitted to the labs for Mpox disease testing, 40 samples tested negative for the disease. So far, the government has screened a total of 426,438 travelers at various ports of entry across the country. Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI Deputy Director for Research, Dr. Samuel Hamadi, says the institution is working closely with the Ministry of Health to stop a possible community spread of the Mpox virus.
We are thinking about scaling up and making sure as many facilities as possible can test for this virus, so that we have what we refer to as a quick turnaround time for generation of results. And then using the novel techniques to be able to sequence the virus and generate result information that is very important for our use.
The Ministry of Health recommends regularly wash hands with soap and running water or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Practice good hygiene and avoid close contact with individuals exhibiting mpox-like symptoms. Avoid sharing personal items such as towels, utensils or clothing material. Additionally, if you or someone known to you exhibits symptoms or has been in contact with someone with mpox disease, visit the nearest health facility for assessment by qualified health professionals. Caution should also be taken around wild animals and avoid the consumption of uninspected meat and meat products from wild animals. For more information, one can contact the Ministry of Health through hotline numbers 719 or 254-729-471414 or 254-73-235-3535. Sarafina Robi for Easy Friday.
So if you forget the last two numbers to contact if you suspect or know a case of mpox, at least remember this: 719. Now, over 90 families have been affected by landslides as a result of the ongoing heavy rains in Baringo Central, Baringo County. Now, Sigowo Village, 60 families moved out of their homes after massive cracks were seen, posing a risk of a landslide, with mudslides blocking roads and farms.
Families in Magan village in Yetumoi location have fled their homes and are currently camping at Kabarbarma Primary School after the village was affected by mudslides. In Sigowo village, massive cracks have pushed families out of their homes. Francis Kangogo, whose house has become uninhabitable due to huge visible cracks on the ground, was forced to flee to avert the loss of lives and is currently being hosted by a neighbor.
Huwezi jua sasa hii macracks zikitokea, huwezi jua kama itapaki ama itakuwa nini. So nyewe hapo atusaidie tu kutupea shamba.
Mpaka sasa tunasema tusaidie kweli, sababu tunahamia kwa machirani.
Wakazi wengi wa eneo hili sasa wako na shida, wako na wasiwasi zaidi kwamba huenda ardhi ikakatika kutokea landslide, na kwa hivyo wanaishi kwa wasiwasi sana. Tunaishi kwa wasiwasi.
Such a location chief called upon the locals to be extra vigilant as the government finds a permanent solution to the crisis.
Wenye wanahitaji usaidizi kabisa ni family 60 hivi ambao wanahitaji kabisa msaada mkubwa.
Baringo Central Member of Parliament Joshua Kandie called upon well-wishers to assist those affected.
Wakuwe vigilant sana na kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila siku waangalie ni nini inatendeka hapa. Kama kuna more landslides, wajaribu kuhama hapa, waende hata kwa my relatives.
2 weeks ago, 5 people lost their lives in Chebogel village in Baringo North after landslides swept them away. Parsa Frederick, Easy Friday.
The National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has instructed the Clerk of the National Assembly to formulate a legislative proposal seeking to consolidate bursaries and scholarships from the Ministry of Education, the National Government Constituencies Development Fund and the county governments. Now, he has further written to the Ministry of Education requesting information and data necessary for the drafting of the legislation. This is after petitions were presented to Parliament and at the High Court in Nakuru, arguing that the scattered funds have led to duplication of awards. Give us on Minor with a report.
The MCA is giving bursary, the woman rep is giving bursary, the MP is giving bursary, the governor is giving bursary, the ministry is giving bursary, help is dispersing money.
The controversy surrounding education, bursaries and scholarships in the country now appears to take another twist as the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, ordered the clerk to immediately begin formulating a legislative proposal that would lead to consolidating bursaries and scholarships offered at different levels by different entities.
The same parents will go to the MCA, go to the MP, go to the women rep, go to the governor, end up with everybody collecting money for the same cause. If you can realign this, our problem will be solved overnight.
In a letter dated 14th August 2024, the Speaker revealed the National Assembly had received a petition from members of the public, noting that, and I quote, The current uncoordinated approach towards the issuance of bursaries and scholarships from public funds by the Ministry of Education, the National Government Constituency Development Fund, and the county governments has in some instances led to duplication of awards. End of quote.
If you are able, and it's you to generate policy, if you can generate policy, this House will be more than happy to turn it into law, so that we can amalgamate and consolidate these funds.
The letter also detailing that the High Court has been petitioned in Nakuru Constitutional Petition number 812 of 2024, Laban Omusundi versus Office of the Controller of Budget, and 5 others for the consolidation of existing bursaries and scholarships for purposes of coordination. This prompting the Speaker to write to the Ministry of Education requesting for information and data necessary for drafting the legislative proposal that would ensure fairness and equity in bursaries distribution. This as Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba urged students categorized in wrong bands of funding to lodge appeals as the portal remains open until 31st of December 2024. In a statement, he said 12,958 appeals have been received. Further, the Cabinet Secretary confirmed 5.2 billion Kenyan shillings has been released for students' loans and 2.8 billion shillings for scholarships. The latest developments also following Chief Justice Martha Koome's criticism of the new funding model, which he said creates inequity. Give us in Manyara, Easy Friday.
Chief Justice Martha Koome has called on the National Assembly to expedite the legislative process to fully transition all tribunals to the judiciary. The President of the Supreme Court argues that tribunals hold a unique and indispensable role in the justice system, designed to offer a simplified and specialized avenue to access justice, which is central to the judiciary strategic blueprint of 2023-2033 that promotes access to justice and a multi-door approach.
Speaking during the launch of the Tribunal Shared Service Infrastructure, website and registry manual, the Chief Justice called on MPs to fast-track the passing of the Tribunals Bill.
Due to the lack of the legislative framework to streamline the operations of the tribunals, I appreciate the government's efforts in this regard, particularly the Cabinet's approval of the Tribunals Bill last year.
The Chief Justice said the 26 tribunals successfully transitioned from the executive to the judiciary have had a major impact, evidenced by their impressive performance in the case clearance rates.
Given the supervisory role of the superior courts, I urge that we embrace structured engagement between the tribunals and the superior courts to enhance the administration of justice.
Deputy Speaker, National Assembly Gladys Boss promised to fight for the judiciary in Parliament by ensuring their budget is increased.
I was a bit upset when they reduced your ICT budget, but I can give you my commitment that I shall continue to fight for you as your ambassador in Parliament.
Stakeholders said the new model of justice, saying it is important to have a single point of access where citizens can easily locate tribunal services. Stakeholders said the new model of justice, saying it is important to have a single point of access where citizens can easily locate tribunal services. The judiciary is also establishing an appeal tribunal aimed at speeding access to justice instead of going the long way of the superior court's access at the Court of Appeal. Meanwhile, the Chief Justice also witnessed the swearing-in of the new Attorney General, Dorcas Sodora, as a commissioner of the Judicial Service Commission.
We are all delighted with your appointment, especially because we have worked with you closely in your previous tour of duty as the Secretary Public Prosecutions.
We also will put it as one of our focus so that we help the judiciary to achieve its focus this year.
Odor promised to work closely with the judiciary and to act as a link between the executive and the judiciary. With tribunals receiving accolades of 100% clearance rate of cases, the judiciary now aims at a one-stop shop tribunals plaza to enhance access to justice. Ruth Wamboi reporting for Easy Friday from Kenyari Towers in Nairobi.
On matters justice is that a Nakuru High Court has granted the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission preservation orders, stopping the planned auction of public land grabbed from the Agricultural Training Center in Nakuru. In his ruling filed by EACC under a certificate of urgency, Justice Charles Kariuki has prohibited EcoBank and Hashi Energy Limited from selling, charging, alienating, auctioning or otherwise disposing of the land pending the hearing of the case filed by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. Details in our Scales of Justice segment.
In his quest to guard grabbed public land, EACC has won at Nakuru High Court, where two companies have been caught in the mix-up. Hashi Energy Limited and EcoBank are accused of grabbing the public land that belongs to the Agricultural Training Center. The land is under active investigation by the Commission for Recovery and Return to the Public. Meanwhile, Milimani High Court has issued orders stopping Old Mutual PLC from selling assets of the company. A petitioner, Joel Kamau Kibe, claims the management of Old Mutual PLC has systematically excluded minority shareholders from participating in the management and decision-making process of the company. Justice Wayo Mongari has directed that the application be mentioned for direction on the 30th of next month. And a man serving time at Committee Maximum Prison has been accused of collaborating with his mother to steal money from unsuspecting citizens. Appearing before Chief Magistrate Susan Shitubi on Friday, Pamela Akinyi amused the court when she declined to answer to some charges. Akinyi and her son Esbon Onyango Nyamoya, convicted at Committee Maximum Prison, are accused of obtaining 7.6 million shillings from Purity Karambo.
2 million plus one such surety. The prosecution to supply her copies of all documents to be used at the trial. Sasa watalipa laki moja.
Elsie septuagenarian woman has been charged with forging an agreement of sale and transfer documents of a plot of land located in Umoja 2, purporting to be the sole owner.
Any other requests may be made before the trial magistrate. Will be in a better position to weigh everything.
Sophia Kanini urged the court to give her leniency on bail terms, citing she is a senior citizen of this country and cannot escape the jurisdiction of the court.
Yani bahati mbaya kwamba sasa sikia, nataka usikie.
Ruth Wamboi for Easy Friday.
That puts a cap on the first segment on Easy Friday. More to come, including what is happening in the sports and business dockets, as well as Meru County. Do keep it right here. We'll be right back.
Zawadi za kila wiki, 100,000 kila wiki, 250,000 kila wiki. Uamuzi ni wako. Sasa Lutomoto kwenye holiday bonanza hii inakuletea game mpya kupitia star 570 hash option 4 na ujishindia up to 250,000 Kenyan shillings ukiwa nyumbani. Na draw ni ya kila wiki, na kupata tikiti yako ni kupitia star 570 hash pekee option 4, na tikiti yako ikitufikia inaingia ndani ya drum.
Kunywa malize. Wewe kijana umeoa? I'm going to have a lot of children with a lot of women.
Hii kazi yote ni pesa ngapi?
Hii yote ni 4,000. Sawa. Kama nikaenda imo nini umefanya nigoja. Afala kuruka.
Ay.
Magia.
Mulipata napi na jemedari? Baesa. kwa ba. Ukitaka msichana mzuri, enda mashambani. Umlete, alafu umfunze venye yataka, venye unataka wewe.
Maiko wife hapa, yuko na idea ingine kali.
Kwa hivyo nyinyi mmekaa chini, mkaanza kunilinganisha na wanaume wengine?
Hapana.
Welcome back. Easy Friday. Now we cross over to Meru County, where embattled Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has signed an 11.8 billion shillings 2024-2025 budget days after the Senate confirmed her impeachment. Now, speaking at her office after signing the budget, the governor observed that she had decided to sign the budget to avoid delays in development and avoiding colluding with the Assembly. Mwangaza further expressed her frustration with Meru Ward representatives, accusing them of deliberately slashing critical allocations to her office. One of the significant reductions she highlighted was a budget for fuel, which she claims has reduced from the initial allocated 10 million shillings to a mere 3 million shillings.
We believe today, kwa sababu tumepitisha, itasaidia Meru County na maendeleo itaweza kufika mashinani. Of challenges hapa na pale, maana haijakuja vile tulikuwa tunategemea, lakini tuna believe tukiendelea kusongana ama kuvutana hakuna manufaa kwa mwananchi. Tumeona ni vyema tuipitishe, maana tuko pia na nafasi ya supplementary budget. Kama kuna issues tunaweza rekebisha, na zingine ambazo hatutaweza kurekebisha, we shall still do some more work coming years. Kuna ile nyingine ambayo pia imetukera kidogo, kama kutoa scholarship. Tulikuwa last financial year tumepata wanafunzi zaidi ya 900 ambao waliweza kufaidika kwa scholarship, lakini imetolewa kabisa. Kwa hivyo hatutakuwa na scholarship, lakini tunasema maana tuko na bursary, tutajaribu kusukuma wale ambao walikuwa kwa scholarship waingie kwa bursary, even though iwezi kuwa the same.
I don't know what you think about that turn of events in as far as Meru County is concerned. Do you think it is born out of pressure, or to ensure that the constituents of Meru County continue with their development, or rather earn from the development projects they're in? It's a matter of wait and see. Now, the Kenya Editors Guild has announced plans to create a journalism trust fund aimed at cushioning individual journalists and media houses adversely affected by the harsh economic times in the country. Addressing a press club luncheon hosted by the Kenya Editors Guild in Nairobi on Friday, Chief Executive Officer Rosalia Mungo revealed that the fund will seek to reverse the current trend that has rendered hundreds of journalists jobless.
Economic times being experienced in the country have continued to render businesses in the country unsustainable. The media sector too is feeling the heat. The Kenya Editors Guild say it will establish a special journalism trust fund to aid media entities struggling to stay afloat.
We are cognizant that media has been disrupted and the sustainability of media is now at threat. Several journalists have been rendered redundant in this season, and we call upon various independent institutions to propose solutions to allow independent journalism to thrive.
Speaking during a media forum organized by the Kenya Editors Guild to discuss Africa's potential for self-reliance in the healthcare manufacturing, CEO Rosalia Omugo further underscored the need to enhance capacity building for journalists on better ways to report on technological and medical advances and their impacts on health outcomes.
We take seriously the need to tell the full story by documenting the triumphs of communities being impacted by solutions brought to their vicinities.
Her sentiments were echoed by KEG member Bernard Mwinzi, who called on journalists to highlight the need to boost local manufacturers of medicines and health commodities as a means to combat the spread of diseases through local mechanisms.
And people have been talking about whether we should develop local capacity to do this. Should we really be importing paracetamol, for instance? For a very long time, and I think up to now, we are still importing syringes, even though we have local people who are producing syringes and sending those syringes around the world. The question is it a matter of goodwill? Is it a matter of access? Is it a matter of policy? Is it a matter of how the tendering is done? What's going on, and what do we need to do to get this right?
Joseph Ohungu for Easy Friday.
It's Easy Friday, and it is back tight and loose, big and small, wide and narrow. We're talking about the ever crazy, always hilarious, undoubtedly entertaining and mind-boggling weekly feature that is Savage Netizens, that captures the unique moments. And tonight, Tess Mutai takes an over-shoulder look at the light moments as captured by netizens during the Gen Z protests, as well as the newly unveiled Eldoret statues that were short-lived. Take a look.
Gen Zs decided they are not our ancestors and made some necessary noise. Without further ado, let's see how it all went down. Before we move on swiftly like netizens on the streets, Wadau, did the pressure increase or decrease?
Come again.
Increases, I think.
Yeah?
Increases. It seems like Gen Zs turned up the heat a notch higher because they knew if they don't, watafinywa.
Finya wa Kenya wapate na finya watu walipe kote, finya uchumi hii ikuje mzuri, finya kabisa, finya wote ambao walipe kote, finya.
Sababu masani machache, let's have a quick over-the-shoulder look at what transpired during the smoky tear gas weeks.
Be fearless! Be fearless! Fearless! Fearless!
Thank you.
Tunasonga kulikonduthi, nyege nyege kulikonduthi, nikuchundoka.
Kweli, Gen Zs wanaogopa Mungu pekee na uji moto, cause they even decided to dance for their buddies in uniform. Wow.
Anguka now, twende down low now. Stand up to your feet, mikono juu alafu click. Tuliza pesa alafu one lege.
But after Gen Zs were kinda done injecting, Eldoret City received an injection of its own. Finally, wamejua the difference between reality versus expectations after the statues left netizens flabbergasted.
This is the true meaning of I know a chipangai. Ai bwana. Bwana kuna sculptors Kenya bwana, msitundanganya bwana. Jamaa si wale wenye waliunda Simba za Nairobi.
Everybody was trying to find a bucket of sand to bury their heads in over the shame caused by the newly unveiled statues. Koti moja provided netizens with fodder for content after he made his remarks.
Si makosa yetu kabisa, hata Mungu anajua si makosa yetu. Sasa ile tunafurahi tunaangalia roundabouts. Sasa vitu hili zinatokea, sinakaa kama ni binadamu na kule mbele inakaa kama ni shetani. So we did what to do. Sura ya Kigona ya faith ilionekana kama nyanga wengine, alafu sura ya Kipchoge.
Bobby wrote the project must have been contracted to a CBC class. But koti moja, are you sorry about the statues?
Tumejulikana kuliko kila city kwa hii dunia. Makosa iko wapi?
I'm not sorry. It is not me who caused. How can I say so?
Fortunately for the already tormented netizens, there won't be much to spectate for the statues ilianguka nayo.
Huko ngabado na chukua madam, so anguka nao itabaki meflow na vibe. Anguka nao kako single for now. Mdaglis ndeja patikani hadi late night saa 6 ndo taniwai. Nikupin location and kofana na hii.
Well, that's it for us. Catch you next week on Savage Netizens. My name is Teresa Mutai. For now, wacha tuendelee kuanguka na. Hey,
anguka na. Anguka now, check it. Anguka now, twende down low now. Stand up to your feet, mikono juu alafu click. Tuliza pesa alafu one lege. Anguka now, one lege. Anguka now.
The fact remains that that particular team that brought you Savage Netizens are all in that particular cluster, Gen Z. If millennials here in studio, that is I and Carol, who's coming, in the next few, could actually try the Anguka na move, we would literally anguka nayo. We take a breather. We'll be back.
Siamini.
Amini usiamini, Holiday Bonanza ni ya kila mtu na zawadi zitakufikia mahali popote. Dial *570#, chagua option 4 na zawadi kibao zinakungoja. Ikiwa kila wiki kuna 250,000 Kenyan shillings za kushindaniwa. Ni *570# pekee, option 4, tushinde.
It is not just about how many times you brush your teeth in a day. It is how well you brush your teeth.
You need to be taking your toothbrush like this in a circular motion.
Studies have now shown that there is a direct link between oral health and heart diseases.
You have bacteria that are harmful. So these bacteria, once they remain in the mouth for some time without them being removed, they increase to such numbers that they are able to cause diseases of the gum. People who have poor oral health during pregnancy are more predisposed to preeclampsia and elevated blood pressure.
To learn more about how your oral health impacts your overall health, join us on Health and Lifestyle.
Thank you for staying with Easy Friday. My name is Weri Mujenga, and I bring you up to date with the latest in the world of business. Later on, I'll be joined by Brian Kimani from Nakuru County. He'll be speaking to the Central Rift, or rather on the Central Rift water projects, and he'll be giving us an update in a short while. But first of all, let's take a look at the stories that are making headlines this evening. Hustler fund defaulters will soon be tracked and compelled to pay their outstanding debts. Cooperatives and micro, small and medium enterprise. Cabinet Secretary Wycliffe Oparanya says the government is developing a system meant to boost hustler fund loan payments and through accurate tracking and tracing of defaulters.
Data from the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSMEs indicates that out of 21 million Hustler Fund borrowers, only 2 million have repaid their loans.
21 million people borrowed money. Out of that, 19 million disappeared. So for those 19 million, I'm coming for you.
Besides the new policy, Oparanya says the government is introducing a Hustler Fund credit system that will reward loyal borrowers as well as offer crucial data to be used in graduating them onto the mainstream financial system.
And soon we shall also be awarding those who are good borrowers. There's one already who is now borrowing up to 2 million and doing very good business.
The Financial Inclusion Fund, commonly known as Hustler Fund, was created to empower citizens to start successful businesses, no matter their social standing. However, small businesses have decried the high cost of starting and maintaining enterprises.
We need to be able to create those places where we can have our SMEs be able to do their work, to have the markets, to have industrial parks that are just for SMEs, because with all these facilities that we're talking about.
The regulatory system needs to come up with something radical to say, let's go and remove all legislation, all regulation. I'm not saying remove the registration or whatever, but remove the charges, the cost and fees that we are supposed to pay for licensing and starting up. And I think this would change a lot of things.
Acquiring tools means one needs to have the financing to be able to buy the necessary infrastructure, but equally means one requires the skills. And how we come in as a program, as a regional program, is to train the SMEs that apart from being able to acquire this financing for tools acquisition, how then do you get the skills to take advantage of that you have acquired?
They were speaking at the annual SME Conference and Awards and Exhibition, where SMEs were urged to leverage on innovation if they are to build sustainable businesses.
We have just launched what we are calling the MSME Financing Gateway, a platform that collects together the opportunities, financing opportunities that the SMEs can take advantage of. So as a GIRA, how we support in that sector is training the SMEs on financial literacy.
Alanauko, Easy Friday.
Now we head to Nakuru County, where Brian Kimani will be speaking on the projects in the Central Rift Water projects. Brian Kimani, over to you.
Well, many thanks, Karen Jenga, back there in Broadcasting House. And we are in the beautiful county of Nakuru in Nakuru County. And what are we doing here? I mean, we've been tracking water and sanitation project, and we just came back from Manyara County, where we just witnessed what's happening down there. And this is a collaboration between government agencies like the Central Rift Valley Water Works Development Agency and the county of Manyara, whereby they are constructing sewerage as well as water projects. And now we are here in Nakuru County, and the next 3 or 4 days, I mean, our conversation will center around what the government is doing to enhance water and sanitation services, because when you go through the Kenya National Water Policy, I mean, it talks about achieving a universal coverage of water and sanitation by the year 2030. And the question is, what are the 9 regional water agencies doing to enhance and to ensure that as a country we achieve this? We are joined by 2 gentlemen whose business is to ensure that this aspiration is achieved. I'm talking to Vincent Ingaji. He's the General Manager for Corporate Services here at the Central Rift Valley Waterworks Development Agency. Thank you very much, indeed, Ingaji, for joining us.
Thank you. Good evening, viewers.
Very good indeed. And just on my right, we have Carlos Cheluget. He's the Manager for Communication Services. Thank you very much indeed, Carlos. I just want to hear, first of all, from you, Ingaji. Where is Central Rift Valley Water Works Development Agency in fulfilling the government's agenda or mandate of ensuring there is universal coverage of water and sanitation in the country?
Thank you, Brian. First, I must tell viewers where we are working as a government agency. We cover 5 counties: the county of Nakuru, county of Nyandarua, Laikipia County, Baringo County, and Narok County. And our work is to develop government waterworks on behalf of the national government, and manage the waterworks as a water company if there is before we hand over to the county government for management. We also provide capacity building services to county governments in the management of waterworks development, meaning the management of water services, and also we provide services to the cabinet secretary for delivering his duties within the county, the area of our jurisdiction. Where we are, we have made strides, but the gap is huge. So we would talk about around 55% coverage, that including both urban and rural areas. Of course, in urban areas it's higher than in the rural areas.
It's about 69%.
Yeah, yes.
Very well. Carlos, I mean, you're one of the 9 water management agencies in the country.
Yes.
You cover about 5 counties, yes. But I understand your mandate goes beyond the 5 counties. Which other counties are you in, and what are you doing there?
Okay, thank you so much, Brian. As you've heard, we are in 5 counties, but yes, we are beyond the 5 counties. There's a very special program that was funded partly by African Development Bank and governments of Kenya. It is called the Kenya Town Sustainable Water Supply Project or program. This program it was clustered into 3 main regions. and therefore we were mandated the responsibility of implementing these projects for the other 3 agencies. So we are also in charge of some projects in North Rift Valley Waterworks, Lake Victoria South and Lake Victoria North. So this program actually covers 23 counties. In this cluster, I think in this program we are the biggest cluster. You can look at 23 counties, actually basically half of this country. So in these 23 counties, we have almost 17 water and sanitation programs, but a number of other feasibility studies and development that's going on. So this program so far are so good, you're almost coming to an end. Of course, we had some delay a little bit for other factors that were playing, but so far we are very glad. We're very glad we have managed to finish. Actually, in the whole program for the Kenya Town Sustainable Supply Program, we were the first cluster to commission the first project. And that was in June last year when we commissioned the Narok Sewerage, a very beautiful project for Narok Town to spur growth in that town. We also just commissioned the Olkalau Water and Sewerage Project. Which is just so today. That was in January this year. And then after that, we went to a very nice project in Trans Nzoia County to supply water to the town of Molem and the town of Endebess and other places in Kwanza. And the project is called Kiptogot Kolongolo Water Supply Project. After that, we went to Malaba. Now that is under Lake Victoria North to commission the Malaba Water Supply Project. And of course, last week we were in Nandi Hills to commission the Nandi Hills Water Supply Project. All of this by the President of the Republic of Kenya. And we are very grateful for the support we have continued to receive from the government of Kenya through our Ministry of Water and Sanitation, Irrigation and Sanitation.
Very well.
Yeah.
Vincent, I want to hear from you. Some of your biggest projects are the Itare Dam.
Yes.
As well as Chamusus.
Yes.
Tell us something about Itare Dam. There was a bit of controversy, in the past.
Yeah.
You were telling me that the project is now almost kicking off.
Yes.
Give us an update.
Yes, O'Brien, this project is one of the Vision 2030 flagship projects, and it was in the first medium-term plan. We had started implementing until we had implemented up to 27%, up to last year. That was in 2018 August when it stalled due to some problems that affected the contractor. Since then, the government has been, we have been working together with the other stakeholders within the government to make sure that the project is started once more, so that we can provide the services we want to provide for the people of Nakuru. It's a big project. It has a capacity to provide, to supply 100,000 cubic meters of water to areas along the route, the pipeline route, and in Nakuru County. Out of that, 70,000 cubic meters will come to Nakuru City. The project has several components. It has a dam, which is situated in Mau Forest in Kuresoi South, sub-county of Nakuru. And then it has a pipeline of about 103 kilometers all the way from there to Nakuru town. It has a tunnel for 14.5 kilometers.
This is going to be the longest viaduct
yes,
in the country.
Yes, and the purpose for that is so that we supply water by gravity to reduce the cost of pumping water to Nakuru. And then we have about 5 big tanks, which will have a capacity of over 50,000 cubic meters within the areas around Nakuru City. So we expect after completion, we will serve about 800,000 people.
800,000 people
yes.
will be served by Itare Dam.
Yes.
When do you expect completion to take place?
Okay, after it starts, we expect it to happen in 48 months. That if we...
So those are 4 years.
Yeah, we are... arrangements are at advanced stage, so we hope that before the end of this year, we will see some works moving. And if that happens, then by the year 2029, we should have water.
Dam up and running.
Yes.
Carlos, before we wind up this conversation, I want to hear from you. I mean, in the next 6 years, the Kenya expect to have universal coverage of water and sanitation in the country. How is Central Rift Valley Water Works Development Agency playing or how is it positioned to help Kenya realize this?
Thanks so much, O'Brien. First of all, let me appreciate the fact that we developed our 2021-2026 strategic plan. In this plan, we have clearly outlined how we need to achieve that target. And of essence is to note that a number of projects are, of course, we are still very low in terms of coverage, and we still wish to mobilize a lot of resources to ensure that we implement some of these projects. And in our strategic plan, we have targeted to mobilize nearly 234 billion shillings for those period of 6 years. Yeah, 234 billion shillings for the period of 6 years. If we manage to get this money from these funds from, of course, our government of Kenya and other partners, we will be implementing a number of projects that overall is to improve coverage from the current percentage we have, both in sewerage and also water. We realize we're actually very low in sewerage. Most of our towns in this region are yet to get a sewer system. We have been receiving and developing these proposals to ensure that we try to cover major areas. But above all, we also have other smaller projects for communities. These are basically what you also saw today in Nyandarua, very viable and very sustainable and impactful community water boreholes projects. These are meant for rural homes, for small communities of around 100 to 200, as you had in Nyandarua, 200 households. The impact is very big. We also appreciate the fact that we are going climate proof in terms of implementing our projects. These are possibly reducing use of hydropower. We also try to use solar. We solarize all our system and also make sure that our sewerage programs are also friendly to our environment.
To add on,
in 10 seconds.
Okay. We have other projects like Kirandich Dam Phase 2, which we are also implementing. We are planning to do Lake Nakuru Biodiversity, which is a sewerage project with a water component, a water supply component. We have plans to do Pesi Dam also, among others, which we are engaging with the government to mobilize resources.
Very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know, we are going to be here for a couple of days. Of course, I will be engaging you to know more about what you are doing and what are your aspirations as we move towards ensuring that Kenya becomes, all of us, we know we have clean and piped water, and as well as a proper sanitation. Gentlemen, your time is highly appreciated. We'll keep talking. Karen Jenga, that is the kind of conversation that we're having here. Tomorrow we'll be off to Narok County so that we can also just check out what's happening there in terms of enhancing the coverage of water and sanitation in our counties. O'Brien Kimani is my name. We've been coming to you live from the county of Nakuru. Back to you, Broadcasting House.
Thank you, Brian Kimani there speaking to on Central Rift water projects and also talking to those who are driving the government's agenda on ensuring that water and sanitation is provided for you. Now we move on to other stories making headlines. Now food contamination for fresh produce is rampant during transportation due to the use of inappropriate ways to ferry the farm produce. This is according to the Pest Control Products Board Chief Executive Officer Frederick Bushiri, who says inappropriate use of pesticides account for 2% of contamination of fresh produce.
Kenya has been grappling with high residue levels that have seen some farm produce intercepted in key export markets. However, the latest Pest Control Products Board report shows that most farmers have complied with stringent pesticide control regulations, with most farm produce fit for human consumption.
We also compared the same results with the EU MRLs, as well as trying to check on whether we are also using other unregistered products on the said crops.
We are sorting this up for humanity so that our product can be exported, our product can be consumed. Even locally, we get a lot of food going into the hotels, into restaurants. We want to give people an assurance that you can actually go to the market and buy your product and consume it without any fear.
The Pest Control Products Board report indicates that 98% of farmers have conformed to pesticide use and residue regulations.
The level of regulatory actions is far much higher than our neighboring countries.
The report indicates that most farm produce is contaminated during transportation.
We have food which is very safe from the farm. But the way you handle it from the farm to the fork, that is to the consumer, you find that we contaminate it.
The report says tests carried out in 8 counties found negligible chemical traces on vegetables and horticulture. Benson Drioba reporting for Easy Friday.
Now, there is need to put more emphasis on science, technology, engineering and mathematics career pathways that focus on innovation, especially in the ever-evolving artificial intelligence to advance the education sector. This was rather observed during the 7th edition of the annual Young Scientists Kenya National Science and Technology Exhibition in Nairobi.
This year's Young Scientist Kenya National Science and Technology Exhibition brought together 220 students from 47 counties, including refugee camps, showcasing projects in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics from 47 counties, including refugee camps. Organizers are rooting for more commitment to STEM career pathways that are inspired by modern innovations.
We're starting to see in Kenya some of these industries are building, right? You know, in the last few years we've heard now that Kenya will be manufacturing vaccines, Kenya is starting to manufacture mobile phones, we're having this building of renewable energy, more renewable energy in the country. So, it's all in tune with what is happening to build, industrialization, I guess.
We want to build the numbers that we can bring here. For example, this time we had 220 students, but we had a possibility of bringing 800 students. So if we are able to build partnerships, if we're able to build our programs up, then we can bring not just 800, we can get to even the thousands of young people just coming to showcase their innovations.
UNICEF county representative called for stakeholders, both in government and private sector, to fund projects especially in refugee camps and the arid and semi-arid regions.
So we are encouraging more young people, boys and girls, but also girls through the innovative boot camps. And we supported the government of Kenya Ministry of Education on national STEM policy and STEM strategy to ensure that more number of children do have access to the STEM education within their ongoing national educational curriculum.
Bradford Nyangiri and Felix Makori from Manyara Secondary School in Nyamira County were crowned overall winners. The duo received a range of prizes, including a mobile phone courtesy of Safaricom, 100,000 Kenyan shillings, and an all-expenses-paid trip to Ireland to attend the Irish BT Young Scientist and Technology Exhibition, and a scholarship for a STEM course. Ian Muse for Easy Friday.
Now, Kenya Tea Development Agency KTDA National Chairman Enos Njeru has been re-elected for another 3-year term in a poll that was boycotted by 4 other contenders. Now, during the polls, Eric Chepkwony was elected vice chairperson. Among those who boycotted the polls was Gatondo South Member of Parliament Gabriel Kagombe, who claimed the government involvement in the elections.
The national polls for the Kenya Tea Development Agency was held on Friday at a Mombasa hotel. Among those who attended the exercise as observers was Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Dr. Andrew Karanja. His presence and that of police who had been deployed to deal with any security issues sparked a protest from 5 candidates for the chairperson post, led by Gatondo South Member of Parliament Gabriel Kagombe, who opted to boycott the elections.
Sisi tunauliza, ati wamesema pale Pride in Paradise ati wameketi wamefanya mkutano ati wamechagua chama. Hakuna chama amechaguliwa. Sisi tutafanya mkutano Thursday next week Nairobi katika boardroom yetu ile ambao ndio legitimate mahali tunafanya mkutano. Hapo ndipo tutafanya mkutano na tutachaguana. Na sisi tunaomba serikali. The year 2000 tuliondoa serikali tukawaambia wakae mbali kidogo na tukajitoa kutoka authority tukakuwa agency. Kwa sababu we did not want the influence that we are now seeing coming from the ministry. We want to tell farmers here, and we are decrying what has happened today. Farmers must get their right. And farmers will get their right when we are able to sell their tea properly without interference.
Mambo ya watu kupiga simu, kuja mpaka Mombasa,
Mambo ya ndani ya board, tunaona hiyo ni kuingilia mambo ya uchaguzi wa wakulima. Tungetaka wakulima wachaguane wenyewe.
The protests, however, did not affect ongoing elections at the voting venue where the polls were held, with Enos Njeru voted the national chairperson and Eric Chepkwony as his vice chairperson, sparking celebrations from their supporters.
We wish you all the best as a board, as a new chairman and vice chairman. Wherever there is an election, there are always people who might differ a bit with you, but going forward, make sure that now you are the chairman of everybody.
We will continue to foster a culture of teamwork where every member of our organization feels valued and empowered to contribute.
The disgruntled group has vowed to challenge the election using various avenues.
As I said, we are putting them on notice. We are putting T-Board on notice and the CS for agriculture. We are putting him on notice. And I'm going to write to the Speaker today, asking for explanation as to why KTDA has become the place where everybody wants to come and eat farmers' money.
For Easy Friday from Mombasa County, I am Anburu. Kenya and China have entered a technology and mechanization agriculture cooperation to increase food trade. The Kenyan ambassador to China, Willie Bett, says cooperation is part of Kenya's strategy to reduce the import bill and create employment opportunities through intensive agriculture.
Kenya imported goods worth 459 billion shillings from China while shipping products worth 30 billion to the Far East nation in 2023. Kenya's exports to China were dominated by agricultural products. Kenya is seeking to leverage on increased agricultural mechanization to increase its shipment to the Far East nation.
The kind of strategy which China used to modernize and mechanize agriculture is what we are partnering with China in Kenya so that we increase our productivity.
Kenya has started a partnership with China to start intensive agricultural mechanization to increase production. Agriculture mechanization is part of the China expansion into Africa.
Doing it in a clean manner. In a green manner is what China is leading now.
As we talk about agricultural cooperation, this is a big area for our next step in China-Africa development. There are now many more advanced methods such as digitalization and artificial intelligence, and many companies are helping African friends plan and design in advance. I think the cooperation between China and Africa has great potential.
Kenya is also planning to leverage on agriculture commercialization to reduce its food import bill.
Now, construction of the Lamu Port Special Economic Zone is being accelerated to stimulate investment at the coast. Roads and Transport Cabinet Secretary Davis Chilchir says the Special Economic Zone would directly impact the local community in terms of job creation, infrastructural development and market for raw materials.
The government has been keen on establishing and operationalizing the Lamu Port Special Economic Zone. Already an initial investment of 3 billion shillings had been made to set up a 30,000-acre Special Economic Zone in Lamu. The government says it wants to expedite construction of Special Economic Zone under the Lapset Corridor project.
My focus for Lamu, as it were, would really be to ensure that Lamu is that kind of county headquarters, not just because of being one of our 47 counties, but the county headquarters which supports inland and outbound and inbound goods coming in all the way to Uganda, Rwanda, DRC, but more importantly, the northern part of the country into Ethiopia, South Sudan, and of course our competitors in Djibouti.
Roads and Transport CS Davis Chirchir says the Lamu Port is attractive to investors due to its strategic location that makes it easier to access regional countries.
And therefore, we will focus and ensure that we do pay attention and put action to what we say to ensure that the facilities in Lamu are developed to anchor the country, to anchor Lamu, and ensure that we do play that advantage or competitive advantage in ensuring that we are better than our neighbors who offer the same service.
Construction and operationalization of the Lamu port is also earmarked to open up the coastal region for more investments.
Now that story brings to a close business news for tonight. On the other end of the studio, we have Daniel Wahome with the day's sports. My name is Werimo Jenga. Have an easy Friday.
Mtazamaji, tumekuandalia taarifa zinazogonga vichwa vya vyombo vya habari kutoka hapa jijini Nairobi na pia mashinani.
Wanahabari zaidi ya ubora wao wako ange kukuletea habari pindi zinapochipuka kutoka pembe zote za Kenya.
Kwenye kipindi cha Tamrini tunakuletea mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja kufafanua na kuangazia masuala yanayokuhusu wewe mtazamaji.
Kumbuka, taarifa yenye thamani daima hupokewa kwa amani.
Hivyo basi usikose kuungana nasi kila siku ya wiki.
Tukupakulie na tukutaarifu taarifa yenye mnato kwenye runinga unayoienzi. Kwenye kurunzi mashinani,
sisi DC.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Easy Friday Sport. The rehabilitation of the Kasarani Stadium is set to be complete by the end of November in readiness for hosting of the Africa Nations Championship CHAN early next year. According to Sports Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, his ministry will also ensure the completion of the 60,000-seater Talanta Stadium and the refurbishment of the Nyayo National Stadium in time for the hosting of the Africa Cup of Nations 2027 together with Tanzania and Uganda.
Sports Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen said that Kenya will be ready to host next year's CHAN and the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations as he assessed the construction works at the Kasarani Stadium, which are being undertaken by the Kenya Defence Forces.
We have for far too long left our very critical infrastructure without any proper maintenance and upgrading them to international standards. So we have been caught up in this problem because we need to be ready now, and going forward, never again will we as a country have to outsource our qualifiers to other countries. This will be a major investment that will make sure that we are ready at any given time to host any international event.
In addition, CS Murkomen has sent a warning to all sports federations to strictly adhere to the 2013 Sports Act, conduct their elections, and aid a smooth transition in administration.
We will not use force or thorax or intimidation. We'll just be consultative but firm.
At the same time, CS Murkomen handed over the national flag to Team Kenya, which will be competing at the 20th edition of the World Athletics Under-20 Championship, set for Lima, Peru, between the 27th and 31st of this month.
You are not a small person as you think at the moment. You may be coming from a small village. This is your first time to take a flight. As I said, my first time to take a flight, I was 22 or thereabout. And you may think that it's just you are on a trip, it is fun, it's okay. But let me tell you, you are going out there. The only thing people will see in the entire world is that how is Kenya? How are Kenyans competing? How do they look like? Where is this country where people are winning gold in this manner?
He challenged the athletes to be good ambassadors of the country, promising a cash reward of 500,000 shillings for gold medalists, 300,000 shillings for silver medalists, and 150,000 for those who will win bronze medals. The team of 21 athletes, 10 women and 11 men, has been in residential camp at the Kasarani Stadium and is set to depart tomorrow for the 5-day global showpiece in Peru. Kenya will be competing in the 800 meters, 1500 meters, 3,000 meters, 3,000 meter steeplechase, and 5,000 meters for men and women, as well as the 10,000 meters race walk.
I'm wondering why pole vault is not being trained in this country. You know, you just buy mattresses and a good place and and those pools, and people can jump.
Kenya finished fourth at the 2022 edition in Cali, Colombia, with 10 medals, 3 gold, 3 silver and 4 bronze medals.
Now, Posta Rangers will host Bandari in one of the 2 early kickoff encounters to kickstart the 2024-2025 FKF Premier League season, which gets underway tomorrow. The match at the Kenyatta Stadium will kick off at the same time with the match between KCB and Kariobangi Sharks to be played at the Police Sacco Stadium.
The new FKF Premier League season gets underway tomorrow with 4 matches being played following the postponement of the game between Police and City Stars due to the engagement of Police in the CAF Confederations Cup. Posta Rangers, who finished last season in 9th position, will get the new season underway against Bandari FC, who finished 4 points above them in 4th position. Posta will hope to get off to a good start, having just won 13 of the 34 games they played last season, and face a Bandari side that missed out on the title, won by Gor Mahia after losing 10 matches last season. The second game to be played at the same time will see KCB face Kariobangi Sharks. Bidco United will play Shabana in the 3rd game of the day, while Tusker FC will get their season underway against Sofapaka at the Kenyatta Stadium. 3 more matches will be played on Sunday, again due to the postponement of the game between Gor Mahia and Talanta FC, as Kogalo will be playing in the CAF Champions League. Mara Sugar will begin live in the top flight against Kakamega Homeboys. Ulinzi Stars face Muranga Seal, while AFC Leopards will visit Mathare United. After match day 1 this weekend, the league will take a break until 14th September for match day 2.
Now, Olympics bronze medalist Mary Moraa registered her first victory since finishing 3rd at the Paris Olympic Games by winning the women's 800-meter race at the Lausanne Diamond League meeting held last night in Switzerland. Moraa finished ahead of Georgia Bell and Jamariki, both of Great Britain.
Olympic champion Emmanuel Wanyonyi and Olympic bronze medalist Mary Moraa recorded their first win since the Olympic Games by winning their respective 800-meter races at the Lausanne Diamond League last night. Moraa won the women race in 1 minute 57.91 seconds in her chase for the diamond. Emmanuel Wanyonyi also won his 800 meters race in 1 minute 41.11 seconds, again beating Marco Arop just like he did at the Paris Olympics finals.
Who's tired? Certainly not Emmanuel Wanyonyi.
Jacob Inge Brixton of Norway recovered from his 1500-meter loss at the Olympics by winning the race ahead of Cole Hawker, who won gold in Paris.
There's others chasing down for the lesser places, but watch the clock. It's about 3:28. In fact, it's a beating record, 27:80.
Janet Chepngetich finished second in the 3,000 meters as Dina Asher-Smith won the women 100 meters.
Dina Asher-Smith leading this one at the minute. Also going well is Davis, but it's going to be Dina Asher-Smith to take this one.
Again, Letsile Tebogo of Botswana was the winner of the 200 meters.
And now he's close to the front. The Olympic champion's going to take this one. Eases up over the line. 1963. He won here last year in different conditions, outside 20 seconds.
And that's the sport for tonight. Remember, whole bumper story set for tomorrow. My name is Daniel Wahome. Thank you for being with us. Back to Regina Manyara.
Very much, Daniel, for that update on what is happening in the sporting arena. Some of the stories that are developing at the moment as we come to a close on Easy Friday is that former CS Elido Walo, Dennis Itumbi and Moses Kuria are back in government after landing various roles in the office of the president. Further details are available on our website, that is www.co.ke. Well, I'm Regina Manyara. I wish you a pleasant weekend ahead. And as they say in Gen Z slang, anguka nayo.
Ni zawadi za kila wiki, 100,000 kila wiki, 250,000 kila wiki. Uamuzi ni wako. Sasa Lutomoto kwenye holiday bonanza hii inakuletea game mpya kupitia *570# option 4 na ujishindie up to 250,000 Kenyan shillings ukiwa nyumbani. Na draw ni